Good evening, everyone. Today we're really honored to start our new series about interning in tech companies. And to start this week, we're starting with the internship and the internship or interning in AWS. And for this, we invite our colleague in the GDSC groups, and he's the GDSC of the University of Bocconi, and he has interned at AWS in London, Matei. Welcome to us today. I hope you're doing well. Um,
Hey, Obai. First of all, thanks a lot for the invite from you and the team. A pleasure being here. Hi, everyone, and thanks for taking the time. And hope I'm gonna give you a bit of insight into my experience and the process, and help you out a bit.
Thank you very much. All right, then let's start with the first question in the interview. Actually, before we start, let's just give a small outline of today's event in general. So the event will not just be the interview; we'll have two sections of the event. The majority of the event is going to be focused on the interview. We will have the first 30 minutes with the interview itself. Then we have 15 minutes for Q&A, and then at the end we will have a 10-minute game of Gartic game, which a part of our team has been working on. Shima will be presenting it, and we can now start with the interview itself. All right, so can you tell us a little bit more about AWS and what they do as a whole?
Sure. First of all, I'll start with a small introduction. So, hi everyone, my name is Matei Udroiu. I'm a second-year student at Bocconi University in Milan, Italy, and working towards completing a bachelor's in international economics and management. Currently, also a GDSE at Bocconi, and I have just finished my internship with AWS in October. And basically, to start, AWS comes from Amazon Web Services. It was founded in 2006, and basically, what AWS does is the largest cloud provider for enterprises globally. Right now, it has around 39% market share. The other two main competitors, you probably know of them, are Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud. And basically, what AWS does is work with its customer to do mainly three things. So, database migration, moving data from on-prem to the cloud, and then using over 220 services to help with operations, cost cutting, and making the business more efficient, regardless of what that area is. So, for example, we have services like SageMaker, which is an AI/ML tool that basically helps with supervising the processes, making them faster, and let's say take less of the operator's time, so it can be spent where it's most meaningful. Then we have services like, for example, Lightsail, where it helps developers just deploy applications quickly and effortlessly. And also, for example, Amazon Connect is another very popular offer of AWS, which is basically a smart call center that allows for shorter waiting times, better voice quality. I think everybody had, myself included, when you go to a call center, you call, you have to wait a lot, you have the annoying music, and also when you get to someone, you can't even hear, I would say, properly the information you are being told. So that's mainly what AWS does: moving data and then helping the customers take ownership of that data and use it as useful as efficiently as they can. And of course, it's usually long term. Moving data from on-premises to cloud is it might sound easy, but it's generally not, because we are talking about large amounts. We are talking about companies who traditionally have infrastructure on-prem, which is very old, and also what you do with data afterwards. I would say, as a differentiator in the market, AWS motto and pricing model is pay as you go. So you pay only for what you need, and then if you need more and you want to scale, you can add those services. So basically, you don't have to pay for what you don't need at that moment of your evolution in the cloud journey.
Yeah, that seems
And
like very innovative. Like it's the whole idea is very innovative and really, really useful for like even many of us here who intend to begin small businesses. As you said, the last point, it's really important for like people who can't afford like let's say services which you have to pay a lot. This begins with you small and it grows with you to scale up and it matches usually your budget as a company or as a startup, for example. That's really good to like to know in general and to have like as a backup. So yeah.
And
Um,
I'd say it's important also because we work with big enterprises, of course, but we work also with a lot of medium and small businesses. And for the medium and small businesses, I'd say that's an advantage, as you mentioned, because you don't have to pay for services that you don't need, just the basic. And when you need to scale, you can do that, of course, when the budget allows as well.
exactly, exactly. Right, I think we can go to the next question. Yeah, can you please tell us more about your specific role? Of course, as an intern there, can you tell us like what would you do in general as a role?
Yes, of course. So I was an account representative and business development intern in AWS Energy division. Basically, AWS Energy is a vertical, which means I worked globally with our clients in the oil and gas, power and utilities, and renewable energy industry. And as an account representative and business development, basically I supported the account team, which was mostly formed by account managers. What an account manager does is basically it manages a client. So you have clients and an account manager manages the relationship, manages the services, what they sell to the client, what they need. And in Amazon, it's one of their leadership principles is customer obsession. So it's always working backwards from the client's needs in order to offer them, not just sell. See, okay, what they need, what are their problems, and how can we solve that. So basically, I supported their actions, their interactions with the customer, the processes, and also on the business development side. For example, preparing case studies, materials for engagements my, of course, much more senior colleagues had. And it was basically spread internal and external. So internally, it would be like operationally wise, I would help with that. I also did account mapping. It's called like see, okay, internally, how our accounts are evolving, what solutions can we provide, where should we focus for the next year. I also did some account mapping for some incoming accounts that are gonna join AWS next year, which is a very, very interesting part, basically helping those people prepare the initial engagements. And also worked with the partners team, which is very important because we usually in the cloud industry, regardless if you're AWS, if you're Microsoft, if you're Google, when you go and talk to a client, you also have some partners that help you identify and implement solutions. It's very important to have a good relationship with them and to work together with them in order to deliver meaningful solutions for your clients. So that was another part of what I did. I would say also what more or less every intern has to do at AWS. We'll talk about that a bit later. I also got my certified cloud practitioner exam, which is important in understanding how AWS's cloud services work, they are used, and how it's an understanding and how to work with them. Of course, you can after that go much more in depth and take some other certifications. And also I had a final check ride, which is basically a sales call that shows you are customer ready, which usually interns in sales business development position, but also full-time employees at the end of their onboarding process have to take. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, like you worked with energy itself and with the crisis going on. That would be you've got like a lot of insight from the, let's say, from the background and from the how it all works, from the accounts and all of that. This is really like really interesting to know. And even as an intern, you seem to have had a huge role like in generally speaking, let's say greasing the gears in the company itself. Um, Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fortunately I would say it's a very hands-on internship, and you are treated really well in the fact that you can be really hands-on, get involved in meaningful projects from where you can learn, and the learning curve is quite steep. However, it also comes with responsibility, and you have to be all in. I would put it that way. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Like this is a good note to take when you want to intern in a big company and a big tech company. You have to always be focused on, generally speaking, be prepared for some hard work and like some actual job. I mean, yeah. Let's go to the next one, which would also elaborate a little bit more on this idea. Like, how would you say an intern's day go, and what is like the working environment like?
So in my case, I do the full time 3 month internship, and I would say more or less it looks like regular hires day, like a junior regulars hire day. So being it full time, yeah, you wake up, you go there at 9, and you prepare your tasks for the day and for the week. And generally my day, I would say on average look like this. I would have to split my time however I liked it, which was good. So basically it would be spread between meetings with people in my team or in others team that I needed to engage with in order to get the information and prepare my deliverables, and the rest of it, of course, actually working on those deliveries. In between, I would have my lunch, which I would usually use to go and network and talk with fellow interns from other divisions, or my seniors if they were around. And if I had any free time, I would usually use it to go to coffee chats and talk to people and network. I think that's really important to try and find the time, of course, not forgetting your responsibilities and your task at hand, but finding the time to network and to talk with people in general. Those people meaning your fellow interns who work in other divisions, your junior and senior peers, because it's really important to see how it is for them, how they feel there. Do they enjoy at work? What they work with, and what basically your job would be, or other jobs inside the unit, or inside AWS or even Amazon, because it will give you good ideas about, okay, what I would like to experiment, what I would like to do. And generally people are quite open if you go to them and you have questions, to take their time and to answer them. However, you need to go with the team. You can't I would say, just go and be like, oh, hey, how are you today? No, you go, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Matei. I'm an intern here. I would like to ask you like XYZ about what you do. I find it very interesting. And 99% of them found the time to sit with me for 5 minutes, half an hour, and talk me through that. And also, I think it's quite important to also go and ask, if you want to learn from them, okay, how can I help? What can I do to make your job easier? Is there any project you could involve me? It matters, because at the end of the day, at the end of those 3 months, what people are going to remember is if you actually help them and made their job easier. Besides being a nice, sociable person, it's okay. They'll remember, okay, this person helped me. They did something for me that was useful. And that matters the most. Working in environment, I would say it was quite a high ownership one. So you are given the responsibilities and allowed to touch important project, but there was accountability, and they were expecting you to deliver. But that came with perks. Generally, I wouldn't have someone monitor me. It was, okay, you have these objectives. It's up to you how you get them done. Ask for help if you need it, but so I really appreciated that, because it was mostly on my own. For me, I had the liberty to work remotely or in person in office, however I preferred, because I was working in a global team and everybody was in a different country, on a different continent. However, that is usually at your manager's it's your direct manager's decision. So it's up to them if they want you full time into the office, they want you remote, they let it up to you. But I would strongly recommend going into the office, because otherwise you miss a lot of opportunities to meet new people, to talk with them, to learn, and just expand your knowledge and bump into situations you wouldn't have otherwise. That would be my advice. If you can, go into the office, make the best out of it.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear about you talking about how the importance of networking and how it took a huge part of your day to make sure that you get to know the people there, to get to know different like seniors there, which I believe it's actually a really beneficial usage of an internship. And we will get more to that, as how you said you need to leave a mark, and like how could you now further question a little bit farther in the interview. We can elaborate more on leaving your mark at the company itself. We can go to the next question, I'm assuming. And then, did the skills learned at school, generally speaking, before you intern, help you in the internship, or did you learn extra skills like pre-internship?
So you said pre-internship?
Well, pre-internship or during the internship in general, like if there's
Okay. So I would say theory and practice are quite different regardless of the track or the internship you are going to do, either if it's something more business focused or more technical, for example, in the case of AWS, like a solution architect or software engineer internship. It's quite different, because while theoretical knowledge helps, like knowing what you work with, knowing let's say general concepts about, in my case, business, sales, economy. In other cases, I think programming languages and how to use them. You have to be ready, and that's the most important thing I would like to stress. Be ready to learn on the job and put the effort into that. I would say generally, skills before, what's useful is Excel, Microsoft Office, stuff like that. An understanding, in my case, an understanding of programming languages was helpful because it's in the tech industry, and of course, quite tied to that, but not necessary. It's more for you to understand with what you work with, so you can deliver. And what I learned on the job is always be prepared, always be open, always take on a challenge, even if you don't feel you are up to it, because that's the only way you are gonna grow and challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. And also, I would say, like, hard skill, I definitely learned how to interact with AWS's console, with which our clients, and also inside our company, when you want to do something on the AWS cloud infrastructure, mainly you are going to do it through that. So that's quite useful. If you're going to be in a more technical position, you're going to use that a lot in order to test your products, test your demos, and so on. In a more, let's say, business focused position, not quite, but it's very important, as I said, to understand the products you are working with, because the stakeholders, external holders, generally are CCU, CTO, IT directors, which know very well their stuff, and you have to be up to par in order to explain to them what our technologies and what AWS does. Plenty of extra skills. Also, social skills. I would say most importantly, what I went away with was an ability to multitask and get myself together much quicker, because it's not one at a time. You're gonna have multiple tasks. Regarding of internship, generally, you're gonna have multiple tasks you have to work with, and you have to manage yourself. And if you manage yourself poorly, you're not gonna get through them. If you just focus on one and forgo the others, it's gonna end badly. Otherwise, you might end up, in order to get through with them, instead of spending the 8 hours a day at your office, working 10 just to get through the workload, because you didn't manage yourself properly. Time management and multitasking, definitely most valuable things I went away with from there.
So the soft skills as well, you learn a lot of soft skills, that seems like This is the excellence, like learned skills that you get to learn. It's more of soft skills that help you communicate better when you leave the internship, when you get to have the bigger job, hopefully in another company or in the same company. This is actually a good point to emphasize on. And it's good to know that also, yeah, depending, as you said, depending on the technical, if it's technical, you will have like some certain skills to learn before you join, or if it's business oriented, it's different. But yeah, that's good to know, to always be familiar with the company you're applying to, familiar with their technology. Not, you don't need to be very proficient at it, but at least familiar with it. That's good to know, yeah, and to keep in mind as well. So next we can go to, did you encounter any challenges during the internships, and how did you generally overcome these challenges?
So, regarding challenges is, I would say, especially in the first month, there was a lot flowing around, and of course, I had my task coming out towards me, and it took it took me a bit to understand how the organization works, how to reach out to people, to whom to reach out to in order to solve those problems, and to get the information I needed in order to have my deliverables done by my deadlines. And I think that was the most challenging part, because it's understanding that the people around you, even if they're quite willing to help, they have busy schedules. So if you get half an hour with them, it's very important to use their time efficiently, ask your questions, and make sure you, out of that conversation, you get the answers or the information or other contacts that you need in order to go ahead and work on your own. Because people are there to support you, to ask your questions, but in the end, it's your job to get the info, prepare, and deliver that stuff. What I learned is always, and one of the challenges that I made some mistakes, of course, is always ask and be clear about what's expected of you. Don't assume things. Don't go on a wing and be like, okay, somebody told you something, you don't understand exactly what you need to do, but you just go ahead and be like, oh, I'm gonna figure it out. Because when you have to do that project, you didn't quite get it, someone will be like, okay, but that's not what I asked for. And you're gonna say, yeah, but I didn't understand. They're gonna ask you, okay, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you come to me to clarify this? And that's important. Always make sure you know what you have to do. If you didn't understand, there is no shame. Go and ask again. Or if you have questions along, be like, send to your manager, send to your colleagues an email. Okay, I don't understand. How should I go about this? Is this right? Please let me know. It's very, very, very important. People are there to help, but you have to be proactive. And it might seem sometimes hard, but you have to master the courage to go and do that. And also very important, learn from your mistakes and don't repeat them. I would say that was my big challenge, and I learned gradually to be more courageous and to go and offer and to go and do that and make everything clear for myself in order to deliver what was requested. Yep.
That's a really very very wise thing to say, that like whenever you're beginning in something new, you have to ask a lot of questions, and you will make mistakes, and then you need to make sure that you ask the person who knows more than you to give you guidance on that. It's really good to point out and to remind people about. Always ask questions if you don't know something. It's always there, like you get your answers when you ask questions. Exactly. And let's go to the next question as well. What's your biggest gain from this internship, and like what did you learn in general from the internship?
So, as I mentioned before, and I think we covered a bit of this question, my biggest gain from the internship is that I witnessed what having a full-time job, even for 3 months, means, and that it's certainly not as easy as I imagined till then, because suddenly everything becomes real. So the consequences are real. It's not like in uni, like for example, oh, you don't feel in the mood to study today, okay, maybe you catch up tomorrow, or you get a bad grade at an exam and it's okay, you own up to it, you're gonna make it. No, there you are a full-time employee, so you are there, you are paid for it. It's not on a voluntary basis, so you have to give your 100% there, regardless of how you how you feel. If, for example, you can't wake up and be like, today I'm not really feeling like I want to go to work, so I'm just gonna chill in bed, do it tomorrow. No, you wake up, you go, and you give the best that you have. And that's a good mentality, because it toughens you up, and just makes you, of course, get up on your feet and understand how the real world is, that you're not gonna that you're gonna have to fight for opportunities, but if you fight and you do your job, the people around you are gonna acknowledge that, and they're gonna give back as well. They're gonna give you back info, they're gonna give back their mentorship, which is invaluable. And I would say my biggest gain is every interaction I had with my managers and my peers, and just steal from them their years of experience. Because when you are in an organization like AWS, you can get access to some people you don't usually have, and you have to make the most out of it. Go ask them what was their background, where have they been before, what was their professional, I would say, professional path. It's very important, because it might help you understand how to become a better professional in the area you want to grow, from people that have done exactly what you want to do, or maybe realize, you have liked to do something specifically, and talk with someone and be like, okay, this might not be my cup of tea, but something else will. So because I explored, every talk I had with just helps you so much in understanding how you can craft the path you have ahead of you, and what mistakes not to do. And of course, maybe because you've learned from the mistakes of others, you can do your own mistakes and have the most of that knowledge, because we are still very, very young, have a lot ahead of us, and it's important to use this info to further your goals. And besides that, just realizing that, working full time is tough. It comes with responsibility, it comes with ownership, it comes with a lot of pleasure, but you have to be on it, you have to be responsible, you have to be mature. There are no excuses. Of course, if you have a medical condition or something, nobody's gonna be like, you're dead sick, come into work, you take your leave day. But otherwise, you have to mature, you have to deliver, not only because it's the company, it's the money, but also the people that you work with, because you're gonna work with people that are gonna help you, and you're gonna help them, and you don't want to let them down, because usually if your work is not up to par, it's gonna impact everyone, because everyone is gonna depend on that piece of work. Of course, as an intern, maybe you'd say, okay, I don't have a very relevant input. In some cases, it might be true. In some cases, not. But you're gonna face at least one or two situations in your internship where a piece of your work, your more experience always will depend on it. And believe me, they will know if it's not up to par, or you took a shortcut, or you didn't give your interest. And when that starts to affect their work and their business, it's not okay. And those people are there for you. Be there for them as well. It's very important. Trust goes both ways.
That's interesting. Yeah, like the two, from what I understood from you, is that you get to get a lot of discipline from it. You get to learn how to be responsible, how to wake up early for a job, how to actually stay up to code, and also, of course, the networking part, how to keep people satisfied by your work, and how to make sure that you stay basically disciplined, basically being more disciplined and more organized, and actually carrying responsibility, not just for you, for a whole team as well with you. That's, of course, these are very valuable skills to learn. I believe this is more more important than the other skills that we talked about earlier. It's very, very useful, and I think we should begin training on it right now as students as well. So I hope everyone in the club right now, wake up early, guys, and get to work and all of this from early on. And next question, did this experience generally meet your expectations? Before you went there, what did you expect, and what did you actually see?
So I didn't have some set expectations to be really honest, because it was my first proper I'd say, yeah, my first proper work experience besides my own projects in social entrepreneurship and so on. But it definitely, I would say, meet them and surpass them because of how dynamic it was, of how, yeah, every day I had something to do that I enjoyed, and I never really got bored, not with the people and not with the work. So I'd say, yeah, definitely for all of you wanting to get involved and do an internship with AWS, it's worth it. It's dynamic. It keeps you on your feet. You have, fortunately, a bit of leeway to choose the projects that are interesting to you, to go talk to people and find projects that are cool, and go to your manager and say, hey, I would like to work on this. Is that possible? So yeah, it's up to you. I think at AWS and in any other internship, what you do with that experience, how you take advantage of it, how open you are, how proactive you are in going and finding those opportunities and working on what you want besides what's given to you. So yeah, definitely on that part. Quite enjoy it, quite dynamic, quite a lot of ownership. Depends, I would say, on the person as well. If you're someone who likes to manage themselves and is a bit more, let's say, doesn't want someone to be like, oh, every day get a message from your boss or from your manager and be like, oh, you have to do XYZ, but more like, hey, this is what you have to do this week, this month, go for it. I'd say definitely, because it's engaging and the learning curve is amazing.
Yes, AWS is really definitely like seems one of the best internships, one of the most interesting ones. Like to see many people from many fields as well in it. I would definitely suggest it for like my team in general to look into the AWS internships, and if you can actually apply for it and get it, like guys, go for it. It seems like one of the most interesting internships out there. And can you tell us more about your experience trying to find an internship before you applied to it when you were in Italy, trying to look for internships? How did you find it?
So for me, I mostly looked, I was interested and what I'm passionate about is doing business in tech. So for me, I just Googled, looked on LinkedIn to see, okay, where I could do an internship in touching, yeah, business development, sales in tech, and taking care of these business areas, and just searching. I've applied probably to about 50 to 60 internships at that moment. So I would say in this case, your best friends are certainly like google.com. Go Google, go on the company website, find what they do, see what opportunities they have available. And also LinkedIn is a very, very valuable tool, because sometimes, let's say, the jobs come to you, like the LinkedIn algorithm recommends jobs to you that are more visible, and then you can apply. However, it's important, I would say, and you use this, go into LinkedIn settings and search, for example, for jobs, you can put some keywords that LinkedIn can send you alerts for, like, I don't know, business development, solution architect, and you can do area. You can put London, US, Milan, Italy, whatever. So you can make it as targeted or as large as you would like to. So definitely those two were my best friends. But yeah, I just went on the company's website, researched, looked at the description, tried to find out more, and find if it's something for me, and apply. I would say, though, take your chances. It's really important to apply and give it a shot. You never know what it might come of it. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just go, apply, do the assessments, do the CV, and it's gonna be okay. In what way? You never know what opportunity could jump of you if you don't give it a shot. Yeah, you're gonna be rejected for probably a lot of them. That's just how it happens. For me, it was the same. I got rejected by most of them. But there are gonna be those few that you didn't expect, that are gonna send you an assessment, send you an interview, and that you're gonna get it. You never know who's behind the screen. You never know what's out there, and all you have to lose in this case is time, which I know is very precious for all of us, but it's not that much time. You basically need to put in your data, have a nice CV, apply, and then it's then it's up to them. So definitely, I would say in finding, be proactive, apply to as many internships that are relevant for you, of course, that you can, so you can increase of chances of getting an internship, and use Google, use LinkedIn to try and see the best opportunities that are there come to you. I would also recommend talking with your friends and with your acquaintances, because I also found out about a lot of internship opportunities from my friends that I didn't know about. Ask them, hey, did you apply to any internship? Where did you apply? Why did you apply there? They might have insights. They might have friends that work there, that might have parents, acquaintances that work there, that might have given them some insights that you don't know. Once you are within a company, you can understand much better how it works, if it is for you or not, what the opportunities are. So yeah, use your network, use your friends, ask them, find out about it, and don't be shy. Just take your shot.
Right, thank you. Yeah, this is very important, as you said. Specify a field of interest for you, and look into internships every way possible, and apply to as many as possible. Because even if you get rejected by many, don't be disappointed and give up. It's really hard out there with internships. You get like one out of, like as you said, you got very little out of more than 50 applications. You got very little acceptances, and it's tough for everyone. And don't give up. You will get an internship, but just keep applying and keep trying and hoping for the best internship. Let's go to the next question. Now let's say someone here is aspiring to be an AWS intern. What should he or she do to get there?
Well, first of all, I would say, without getting too much into the let's say process, the application process, about which we'll talk a bit later, is get your CV ready, make it relevant, include a lot of data. That's really important. And then I would say get to know AWS in detail. That's something that counts a lot. So basically what I would say is, get ready and get familiar with the leadership principles of Amazon that apply to AWS as well. Understand what AWS does, what the products are, how they help, and also read some case studies that you can find publicly on AWS's website from any sectors. Go on there, read, see, okay, how did AWS make a difference? How did they work? What solutions did they implement? How did they solve the problem for that company? Yeah, get familiar, get personal. Okay, what are the offers? What's my passion about AWS? What services I identify myself with? Oh, for example, you find services in AWS like Lightsail, like SailMail, Amazon Connect. Be like, oh, okay, this would have solved the problem for one of my projects I was working on. Oh, or I know companies that are facing these issues. This could solve the problem in that area. I think that's very important, to show them that you care and that you are informed, and what about AWS, what about Amazon is different, and what makes you want to be there and implement these changes with them. Yeah, definitely. But in Amazon and AWS, everything comes down from the leadership principle. And also as a process, when you apply for the internship, basically what you're gonna have to do is like this. In the case of Amazon AWS, is you complete your data, you put in your CV. If you pass the CV screening, then you are gonna get an assessment. In my case, it was a behavioral assessment. Or for example, if you are in a technical position, you are gonna receive like a coding challenge, and after that you are gonna have rounds of interviews. It depends. It can be 2, it can be 3. In my case, there were 3 interviews. I had one that was behavioral. I had one that was a technical one on sales call, and then another one with someone senior from my team about why am I here, what I would like to do, why this specific team. So I would say that would be the general procedure. Assessment / coding challenge, interview 1, interview 2, interview 3, and then you get or you don't get an offer. And of course, in the case of relocation, it's also the recruiter is involved in this procedure. So you talk with them, and they're there to assist and find a viable solution.
All right, thank you for this very valuable information for anyone who's planning on applying to AWS. We are running out of time, but we still have 2 more interview questions than the questions of the viewers and the attendees. So we probably are gonna cancel the game or the fun activity for tonight, and we can push it to next week, hopefully. But yeah, let's go back to the questions and to the interview so that we can continue them. So this question is also similar to the one before it. What's really the skills that you would say that would make a candidate stand out?
So I would say, first of all, a well done CV, because that's your first step and first chance to put your foot in the door. So a well done CV where you can clearly see what's your experience, what are your skills, and try to do it something like that. Okay, I did X, I achieved Y by doing Z. So that's what I would go for. Data, relevance. Don't put stuff that isn't gonna be relevant. Most important information at the top of your CV. That would be my advice. And of course, tailor it for that position. So for example, if you're in business development and account management, as I was, you'd like to highlight, okay, your social entrepreneurship projects, for example, okay, you did a project, you made the concept, you delivered, you had to convince the people, you had to sell tickets. But for example, if you want to go more on the technical side, of course, that's not going to matter that much. Instead, it's going to be important for them to see, okay, what programming languages do you know? What projects have you done with them? What have you used the AWS console or cloud services before? Did you interact with the platform? Did you have any engagements or any projects with the AWS services, regardless of scale? Because everybody knows, okay, we are students, we don't have full-time work experience yet. But yeah, to prove your skills and your capacity, that I think it's what makes a candidate stand out. Make it clear, make it understandable, use data. And when you read your CV and you read what you've written there, think, okay, if I'm someone that I didn't know myself and I would read these lines, would I understand? Because you might say, oh, I did this project at my high school and it was super great. And yeah, you might know it, your friends might know it, but probably the recruiter or the people reading it will be, okay, what's this project? I've never heard of it. In your high school, they don't know the high school maybe, or they don't know the uni, for example. So it's really important to make it as clear as you can, and what are they gonna understand, and the easier you make it for them to understand that, the better. Like you say, okay, the event, between parentheses, 3-day conference aimed on entrepreneurship and the future of media, for example. 200 attendees, sold X tickets, Y time, revenue, profit, views. Yeah, make it very quantifiable, easy to understand, make their job easier. If they have to do more to let you in, your chances go down. That would be my advice.
That's a very good advice as well. Yeah, of course. This is really important when while working on your CV to make it clear to the viewer, to make it very understandable that you have put in a lot of work into what you did, and so that you don't undermine yourself or and your work. Thank you so much for that advice. And let's go to this question, which I believe is it's the last question. I think, yeah. So after the internship, what are the chances of you becoming a full-time employee at an AWS for one internship who wishes to keep working there?
Okay, so basically at the end of your internship with AWS, there are two scenarios that I'd like to highlight. So first of all, if you are in your first year going into second year, as it was my case, in case of an yes, you are going to receive a return internship offer. If not, you're going to get a no, a shake of a hand, and that's it. If you are going into your final year, you're either going to generally get an offer, if it's a yes, an inclined it's called. If it's a yes, you are going to receive a full-time offer generally with the team you've interned with. Not necessarily, but generally it's going to be with the team you've interned with for a graduate scheme. Or get a no and that's it. A no doesn't stop you for reapplying to AWS. You have to wait, I believe around 6 months. Don't quote me on that. After you can reapply again in case of a failed internship, but that doesn't mean you are not allowed to work at AWS or something like that. And the chances are completely up to you. So when you are going to be judged, you are going to be judged on your individual performance, so you are not going to be judged against the other interns. You might be a cohort, but you are going to be the bars are going to be set on your performance. So you're not going to be compared to another one and say, oh, he performed worse or better than the other intern. No, it's going to be, did you achieve your task? Did you deliver? Did you over deliver? What were your strong points? What were your less points? And you're going to have a review with your manager, with your onboarding body, with your mentor, and in the end they're going to decide if they're going to extend you an offer or not. As I said, if you're in final year, means returning after graduating for a graduate offer, which is generally it's 1 year, and afterwards you can decide to go with a specific team that you like. You can also opt for going straight for a job without doing a graduate scheme, but that means you go directly inside the team, and if you are decided and they're like, okay, I know I want to go in this team, that's better. But a graduate scheme gives you a bit more time to explore and understand from inside what path you'd like to take. So those would be the those are would be the conditions. I cannot give you any statistics because, as I said, it's not like 50% of the cohort gets a job or something like that. No, it's based on a case-by-case scenario, and if it's you delivered and you did what was expected of you and above, you're gonna get a job. If not. It's not something comparing to the others. I would say, yeah.
That's good to know as well for anyone who hopefully gets like an AWS internship, to know what the future holds for them. I believe this is our last question, and thank you very much for the interview. Now we have about 7 more minutes and the time span allowed for us. So let's have the questions. Let's begin with the questions in the chat. And guys, please send your questions in the chat because we don't have really time for turning on the mics and then asking the question. So if you have a question, please type them in the chat. So we had a question at the beginning, which asked, how was the interview process like? I believe you answered this, but you can elaborate on your answer as well.
Yeah. Sure. So first of all, just wanting to mention that everything I've given in this talk is my personal point of view and my experience, and I'm not representing AWS in any way. I finished my internship, and just to keep that in mind, it's my experience, my personal view, opinion. So not representing AWS officially in any capacity. But getting back to the question, how was the interview process like? I would say it was very, it was fair, and also all the interviewers I've had the chance with, they read my CV, and I didn't feel like I was, one of 2,000 and like, just go to some. No, every interviewer I had, they read my CV. they were ready. They asked me relevant questions from my experience, asked me to expand on them. So they were in there and ready in the process. You didn't feel like another cog in the machine. It was, in my case, as I said, I had a behavioral interview, which was based on my experience, the leadership principles of Amazon, how I proved them, and where I'd like to improve. Then I had a technical one, which was about as I would say, was a technical sales call where it was similar to a, let's say, consulting business case study, not quite the same but similar. I had some information on of course fictional company that would like to use Amazon's services, and how I can get it enrolled in Amazon and deliver some KPIs. And I had about 5 to 10 minutes to prepare, and then the rest of 50 minutes my interviewer was playing the client, and I was playing a salesperson from AWS trying to close the deal. And afterwards there was a final discussion with a senior member of my team, my future team, that was, okay, why AWS? What do you know about AWS? What do you know about our team? What are you looking to learn here? So definitely a bit more high level at that point. And but about that, I would say CV, assessment, 3 interviews, and then I received my offer. And the discussion, of course, with the recruiter and the interviewer, because as my internship was in London, the UK, I needed a visa. A working visa, as you know, after Brexit you need a working visa to go to an internship there, and they helped me out with that. Hope I've answered your questions, or you have any, I don't know, anything I haven't touched upon, let me know.
I believe we have 3 more minutes, so it will be hard to answer all of the questions. We have a fairly long time, so let's skip it for now because I don't think we have time. We can ask this later on. You can join Matei's LinkedIn, and you can ask him there if you're open for it, of course. And let's ask this question, then we can actually let's end the application here. I think Simona asked the question, when does the application open, and are there different deadlines for every team?
Yes, so to touch very quickly on that, applications are on rolling basis. You go on AWS's website, you see there, they're generally rolling, so it's not like, oh, it's open from X to Y. Some appear, some disappear, so you can look into that. Generally, you do not know which team you'll be assigned. What you can see on the website is, if it's Amazon or AWS, but you do not know the specific team within that. You generally find out about 2 or 3 weeks between the beginning of your internship. So you generally do not know what specific team you are gonna join. You are gonna know if it's AWS or Amazon, as it's posted on the website. So go check there, they're rolling, apply, and see how it goes.
Well, I believe this is the end of our great event and the great interview. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matei, for the great interview and the very, very valuable information about interning in tech companies, and especially at AWS. I really appreciate having you as a guest, and we are very, very honored to have you in our GDSC at the University of Pavia. Good luck with your GDSC in Bocconi. We really hope to begin, as soon as the events begin, we can have a huge collab between our 2 chapters, hopefully. And then, see you guys, and thank you guys also for attending. Do you have any closing remarks, Matei, please?
So, thank you very much, Obai, for having me here. Hope you enjoyed this session, everyone. Thank you. It was my pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much for listening to me. Hope I solved some of your questions about it. If not, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and hit me up there. If you could open up the chat just to drop my LinkedIn quickly, and I can answer any question you can have there. There you can find me. And best of luck with your internships. Apply, have courage, take every chance, and I'm sure it's gonna end well.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice night, guys. Goodbye.